I have some concern. When provisions are meant for deployment of funds, we did notice that many a time those funds are not deployed but are kept in an account instead of using it for what the purpose. In between this period where the money is meant to be implemented, that will facilitate free trade of business, why should we still keep the money in the account?
Okay, Honorable colleague, what he said is like it's an ongoing project. So it is when there is a need for the intervention that they have to dip their hand, as it were, into the fund. So it is when need arises that you go into the fund to take care of the problems that is supposed to solve. So it's not that they are keeping the money and then there is a need which is not being met. I don't know whether you got that clearly, sir. Yes, please, Attorney. I'm sorry serving as your solicitor. I'm just trying to put the context.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman. My name remains Honorable Attorney Martin Moore. Chairman, you are not soliciting for them, but we need to get to the bottom of it. Now, this money, how many meetings are prescribed?
Honorable sir, there is no specific number of meetings, and it all depends on the technical capacity of the it's an interagency thing to be managed. The customs is involved, the National Union of Road Transport is involved, National Association of Road Transport Owners are involved. All the people that have to do with interstate road transit.
Okay, sir. But these funds are meant to be used only when there is need, when there is this speculation that there might be an issue in between the point of delivery of when you are leaving from here to there. So all of a sudden you are holding a meeting between here and here to find out if something will happen.
It's not all of a sudden, sir. You see, there are times that the ECOWAS, Economic Community of West African States, they are also contributors to that fund. And they schedule the meetings that should be held. We here will not know unless we're invited to come over. And as it is, we have to put in place our customs. If I may tell you something, we have to put in place systems to fast track interstate road transit. Nigeria is bordering the Atlantic Ocean. There are landlocked countries in West Africa around us, Niger, Chad, and the rest of them. So the rules, when they come, we have to monitor how they leave our port and transit Nigeria into those countries. And the more effective we do that, the more patronage to our ports.
MD, how much do you budget per meeting?
Honorable, the bank is just warehouse.
You're a guarantor?
Yeah, we're a guarantor.
So any amount they tell you to release,
no, it's not. There is a process in releasing the money, which we adhere to. Is the ministry with the approval of the minister before any money is withdrawn. And it is because we do not want to touch the seed fund itself. That is, in this case, the 500 million naira. And that is why we put the money as managers.
So out of 500 million, you have spent 170 on meetings.
But yes, all the 170.
But there has not been any incidences.
No, excuse me, sir. All the money that we have spent is from other incomes that have been generated by us as managers of the money. The seed fund itself, the 500 million, is still intact.
Untouched?
Untouched.
Okay.
Yeah, but you see, what he's also asking is that the proceeds of the 500 million is where you get the 170 million naira from.
Yes.
And he said of this 170 million already spent, how much of it has been spent on the actual purpose of the fund,
except for
which is the facilitation of trade, among countries in West Africa.
Okay, so as it stands right now, the facilitation of trade, that is the guarantee, has not come into effect. Because there are still custom protocols that have not been agreed between the individual countries that are involved in ECOWAS.
So the actual implementation of this protocol has not started.
It has not started.
Disclosure, Chairman, sir.
So it is sometimes, if even the expense is not for the ministry. Sometimes it is to finance the meetings of customs that will have to meet
Okay, we'll come back to that. You want to say something?
Yes, sir. Honorable Chairman, sir.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
You see, like I told you earlier, the customs
back in
are
Abuja?
stakeholders in the utilization of that fund.
How far with the
And
job?
as it is, we're in the process. The
When?
Honorable Minister has just
Yeah.
approved
How far with
that
the job?
will commence the process of training, both for the customs
How
and
far?
our trade officials, on how to set up an effective and efficient ISRT scheme
Hello?
in Nigeria.
Don't worry, we'll come to that just a moment. I know we've done it
I said,
we'll
how
come
far
to
with
that.
the job now? Have you
Because,
completed
like
it?
you are saying, these are like maybe preliminary or whatever stages to the full implementation, maybe the training and what have you. But we'll come to it.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Let me
start.
start by saying
Gentlemen of the press, please.
I do understand and I
Okay,
appreciate
let's
the
see-
fact
let's
that you're
see my
trying to be
office around
intelligent.
5.
You're putting back some of those money, you've reinvested some of those money and got proceeds that you were able to use the proceeds for some of these expenses. But the Public Account Committee, regardless of how it comes, it's the name, public accounts. So it's still public money. The seed money that you use to generate that money must be accounted for, regardless of how it is. Having agreed with that, I'm worried about the concern about all these trainings and tours you've been doing. I'll give you, for example, there is 7 million training in Ghana 2026. There is also another sponsorship for SSATP conference, which is about 10 million within the same space of month. There is another traveling of bilateral meetings with Niger Joint Commission, 9 million again. And then there is another one of Operation and Policy Team Study Tour for Ghana, which is another 13 million. Now, the spacing of which these trainings are done, from what I see here, is within the space of, this one is within 2019 and 2021.
Conference.
So, what trainings are these? Why do you have to do these trainings? 1. 2, do we have the evidence of the expenditure in these regards? How do you raise this? How do you raise the vouchers? How do you do the expenditures? How do you expend money with NEXIM? And I've not seen any here. I don't know if you have of those things. And then to round it up, in all that you do, I have seen, I do not know whether you have other documents that you have submitted beyond what I've seen. I do not see evidence of the expenses. None one. I've not seen approvals, I've not seen evidence. I've only seen documents, written in figures, that this money is spent for this and that. We are here to see documents that support these expenses in details.
Honorable,
You done, sir? Honorable, you are done?
Yes, sir.
All right.
NEXIM Bank is a bank and we have a mandate. The Federal Ministry of Transport is the owner of the money. They are the ones that give us the instruction of what to do with the money. However, if you want all the documents for all the expenses that have been made on this account.
Yeah, but I actually think that question is for the Ministry of
Yes,
Transport.
that precisely, but from the side of the bank, every utilization of the fund, we have full documentation, including approvals.
So that's for you. I want to hear from the transport.
Thank you very much, sir. Before I came on board,
On this money.
the fund's been
That
there
is intact.
and they've been utilizing it.
Because the money was
And as it
released
is,
in
as of today,
2016.
with me on board, we've just initiated something that will kickstart
Was released
the
in
real
2016.
commencement of ISRT scheme in Nigeria, because it has long commenced in Ghana. It's ongoing there,
Almost
and that is why
years.
there was that study tour to Ghana.
Almost 10 years.
And conclusively, the chairman, Senate Committee on Land Transport, they're just waiting for his directive now to move. The Honorable Minister has already approved. They're waiting for his directive to move. And Chairman House Committee on Land Transport to move to Kenya and conclude the final part and come and hold a workshop to kickstart the ISRT scheme in Nigeria. So, you see, just like we stated earlier, it's not about we in the Ministry of Transportation deciding we are doing this. Some of those meetings are decided against our views.
Excuse me, I'm not arguing with your protocols and the laid down procedures of how you function. I'm asking of evidence and documentations of these monies you have expended. I'm not interfering with how you operate.
Fine, sir.
I may not have the detailed understanding of how you operate, but I will know if you spend money and you said, I spend this money on this and this is the evidence of the money I spent. That's what we want.
Thank you very much, sir. I'll go into record, just like I told you, it's operating before I came on board. So I'll go into record and get them out and resubmit to this August assembly. Thank you, sir.
See, it is very, very, very important that you provide these records because that's the only thing that can clear the air on the concerns of the Auditor General. You understand, sir?
Yes, sir.
I mean, just giving us a list of programs and activities for which you have expended the sum of 170 million. Well, actually, what you have there is 121 million. But I think it's because this record stopped at 2024. That may explain why there is that gap. But just giving us itemization does not cure the mischief which the Auditor General wants us to cure. The Auditor General wants to be sure that these monies are actually being expended in an accountable manner and in a manner that fulfills the purpose for which they are meant. So this does not explain it. What my colleague is asking you is the only thing that you can provide that will justify each and every one of the items you have here, in the expenditure pattern. You have a communication strategy retreat, which costs about 4.8 million naira. You have quite a number of things here that ordinarily will raise some concerns. We are not imputing any wrong motive to you yet. We are just saying they raise red flags, which the Auditor General has observed. So you will need to provide us with these records of all the expenditure so that we can scrutinize them and be sure that they actually fall within the line of our accountability framework. Yes, certainly the procurement processes, the approvals, the vouchers, and the other records of expenditure of the sum. So how long do you think this will take you to provide?
A long one.
In 2 weeks, that will be done, sir.
All right. Shall we grant the 2 weeks requested for?
A long one.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much. We expect that this record will be provided in 2 weeks. Thank you very much.